Welcome back to the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Raymond Wu. We're continuing our conversation with Mr. Albert Huang, image maker in Taiwan. Albert, I understand that you've done some work with Discovery Channel, Discovery Network Asia, and one of the series is on Portraits Taiwan. And would you share with us your experience in terms of working with a leading international media?
Yeah, I doing 2 episodes for Portrait of Taiwan because they have 2 different series.
Okay.
The first time is, I think it's around 2004.
Okay.
I did a project with Lin Huaiming, the master choreography in Taiwan.
Yes.
Then the second time was last year. I did another project with them, is Wu Qingyou, the Ashley bookstore, the chairperson of a Ashley bookstore.
Yes.
So I did 2 different projects with them with this series.
Okay. And how long does it take you to do a documentary like that? Of interviews and filmmaking on a leading figure in Taiwan. How long does it take?
More than 1 year of each one.
More than 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many episodes in the series?
The two series, each of them is 6 episodes.
6 episodes.
So the first time we have 6 different companies to do in 6 different person for him.
Okay.
And the second time also is 6 different company working on 6 person with them.
Yeah. Let me ask you if we can backtrack a little bit in the process. When Discovery Network Asia approached you in 2004 first on the issue of doing a documentary on Mr. Lin Huaiming, how does that process begin? And what are the steps thereafter that you need to perform and fulfill your role as a documentary filmmaker?
Actually, at that time, because it's a Discovery Channel working with the GIO.
Okay, Government Information Office. Yes.
Yes. So they put out this announcement. They want they want a production house in Taiwan to involve in this production. So we have to pitch our idea.
Right.
So we write a story of a different person, then let them to see it. And they will look at our proposal and they look at our experience. So they pick different 6 companies.
So it's more like an open bidding process.
Actually, the 2 times they are all open bidding.
Okay. And so after your production company got the bid, what do you do next? Do you first discuss your ideas and concepts in better detail with the Discovery Channel, and then you approach Mr. Lin on the subject?
Actually, there's another step is that nobody knows. Is that we wrote some person, like person A, but maybe Discovery don't want to do person A. They want to do somebody else. So after we pitch and we got qualified, we got picked, we have to wait for they to say which 6 person will be in this series. That take quite a long time to let them to arrange who will be in, who will be out, and who is say okay, who is say not okay. So that take quite a long time, maybe like a half year, to convince 6 people agree to doing this project. So maybe the first time the Lin Huaiming is we wrote the proposal and we got the person. But the second time is we wrote somebody else, but they assign me a different person. So we have to redo the research, rewrite his story. So it's a quite different experience both times.
Okay, but let me ask you, when you wrote your proposal, do you think that with this particular subject in mind, you try to look at the subject through the eyes of Discovery Channel or through the eyes of your own production company?
I think it's for myself because I never know what Discovery will see before I work with them. But right now, of course, I know what they want.
Because you guys have experiences and also they know you better. And also the fact that even if they agree with the subject that you picked or recommend, and then they probably still going to ask you, how best are we going to present Mr. Lin? Are we going to talk more about his, involvement in modern dance, or we're going to talk about, more on the dance company, the Heaven's Gate itself? I mean, how's that discussion, normally take?
That would take like before I made it, it sounds like forever because they always change my story. And maybe every week they will change to a different direction.
Okay.
But I think the most of the problem encountered at that time is that we know Lin Huaiming very well.
Yes.
We know him like 30 years.
Well documented in Taiwan. Yes.
So everybody know Lin Huaiming.
Yes.
But in Discovery Channel and the audience of the Discovery Channel, nobody knows.
Yes.
So I have to push myself and force myself to say, if I don't know this person, how can I tell his story? So that's the biggest challenge because we know him well. So we will think, we don't need to say that, we have to say that. But he said, no, nobody know him. You have to, from beginning, you have to found a very little and very superficial and enter later. Because at beginning we'll say, wow, Lin Huaiming, maybe I've done 10 different documentaries. I have to make a totally different Lin Huaiming. Nobody will see it. He said, no, nobody know him. Yeah. We have to from the stage A, stage zero.
From scratch. And when you ascertain the subject and you agree on the script, and when you approach Mr. Lin and you talk to him about your concept, how you want to film him, what kind of angles you're going to take, and if he has some input, how much do you incorporate that into your own script?
I mean, Lin Huaiming is a very famous artist.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
You can say he's a very powerful person. And so actually, at that time, I feel like he is the real director. I'm not. Because he always has his idea. I am just a person to do what he thinks at that time. So because he has his idea, and he controls his image very well.
Of course. Yeah.
So he don't like some anybody person to take his picture. He don't like no-name person to take his picture.
Of course.
So he controls his image, and he knows image very well. So he has a lot of idea. Even he will say, I am just a little thing in the director's hand. He control me. But he will say that in television. But we all know he has a big influence of this generation like me.
So it goes back to the earlier point that we raised, that it is very important to have a very good communication with your subject before the shooting starts. But let me ask you, after the series on Mr. Lin was finished, were you happy as a photographer or production manager of the project? Were you happy?
Not really.
Because?
Because I think at that time we not quite understand the Discovery want, what I want, and what our crew want.
Okay.
So I think it's some kind of, I think it's a quite mixed feeling for me because I don't see the film come out is what I really like at that time. So. But, well, because I'm happy to doing a Lin Huaiming documentary.
Of course.
But the film is not really what I like, actually.
Okay.
Because I think we have to listen to what Discovery say too much. A little bit. Yeah.
And how about the second series that you've done on Mr. Wu? Was some of the points of frustrations that you had with the Mr. Lin's series, were they amended or were they remedied for the second series on Mr. Wu? Was that better? Were you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with the second one because after the first one, because I was just a director, I'm not use my own I'm not a producer. I'm just a director, so I had to listen to my producer.
Okay.
And I feel I disagree with my producer a lot. That's why it made me not happy with the product. So second time, that's one of the reasons I set up my own company.
Okay.
So I use my own company. I'm a producer and director to do the film. So I'm happy with the second film a lot.
Okay. And you're also now doing something else for the Discovery Channel. Would you mind sharing with us on that?
Maybe this is some kind of secret.
Okay.
I mean, I will say it a little bit,
Okay.
because we're working with them a couple of times, and they kind of trust us production scale and the quality of the film we made.
Okay.
So we did a new series with them. It's called Eye on Taiwan.
Okay, good.
And that will be all kind of different subjects. It's not just people, or it's not just event, or it's not just location. It's quite open to something important or something funny or something interesting happen in Taiwan, and we will show to the Asia.
Okay. And let me shift focus a little bit. We talk about your first exposure to commercial filmmaking in director Ann Lee's film on Wedding Banquet. How do you like that experience in terms of making a commercial motion picture?
It's quite different. That is, that is a narrative film.
Yes.
And also we did it in New York. And New York is a lot of good worker, good actor.
Yeah, the crew.
And yes, but the budget is quite low in the wedding banquet. That was very, very, very low budget. A lot of people even didn't get paid because they just allowed to do the filmmaking.
Pro bono work.
Yeah. So that is quite different. And also, I learned from the narrative filmmaking.
Okay.
And I know in Taiwan we don't have enough budget, and we don't have a good story. That's why I start my own business. I start my filmmaking doing documentary.
Okay.
Because that is the cheap way. I mean, less expensive way
yes.
to make a good stuff, a good film. Because if you want to do the narrative film, you need a lot of money and an actor and the scripts.
Yeah.
But in documentary, you don't need that.
Okay, but let me ask you, other than the work that you're currently doing with Discovery Channel, do you have other projects on documentary filmmaking that your production company is doing currently?
I'm doing some scientific video.
Oh. Is that the first?
Not really, because somebody hired me, did a director 10 years ago to doing this kind. I don't know how to say that in English. 科普节目.
Okay, all right. General science education.
Yeah, so make science easy for people to understand.
Yes.
So I did a couple projects for National Scientific Council.
Yes.
So we did that film also to let people understand science.
Yes, Albert, it's interesting that you brought up this subject because we're going to ask you when we come back to the Taiwan Outlook about your experience as a teacher, as an educator. I know you teach part-time at local universities. We're going to discuss that when we come back to the Taiwan Outlook. I'll see you later.